Hi guys, Bolt here. Today I will be going over the ARMORY. Now why? Because we have a new mod in Wargame Red Dragon called the Annihilation mod, and this basically is a complete overhaul of both USA and of Russia. And it adds a lot of new units, a lot of exciting new units, such as the T-14 Armada, the M1a2 Tusk variants, many planes like the F-22 Raptor, the Su-57 and such, so it's a ton of fun. Now, before we begin, in Wargame, unfortunately, we can't modify the unit models. What we can modify is the unit stats and the unit cards, so meaning these things here. So for example, if I go over to the LAV C2, because these vehicles are already in the game, it looks pretty good. But if we go to, let's say, let's go to the SHORAD, then we have an LAV model. Okay, so there's a few things. This mod basically brings both of these countries to modern days. It changes the stats accordingly, it changes the unit card accordingly, but the unit model stays the same. So now that that is clear, let's just go over it, and you guys will have an idea of what to expect in this mod, and everything you see is subject to change. There are continuous changes being made that either add new units, change some stats, or make it more balanced, and that kind of stuff. So, in the logistics, it's luckily not a huge list. So with the USA, we have a helicopter command, nothing too special. We have a bunch of vehicle commands, which is a really nice treat. So we have this J.Ltv C20TM. Now, if you want to know more about these units IRL, I would definitely just Google it. But these are just basically really fast vehicles that you can use as a command. And the cool thing that the mod makers have added or made possible in this version is transportable vehicles. So this vehicle can be loaded into the Chinook and it can be transported somewhere. And this is true for a lot of vehicles. So that's really cool. And we also have the Super Stallion here as a means of transporting vehicles around. And I don't know why Eugen never did this. Now we also have some LAV commands. They also come with the Super Stallion. So I wouldn't really pay attention to the unit models. For now it's completely fine. But at some point it'll get crazy. We have a Striker CV. We have some Humvees. They also come in Chinooks and Super Stallions. So that's really cool. We have the M1286 AMPV CP. Decently armored. So front 5, side 5. And they come with smoke launchers, so that is one new thing that this mod has added to vehicles. They can actually deploy smoke, such as tanks. They can also deploy smoke. We have the M1a1 Hc Tusk C2. Now this is just using, I believe, the M1a1 unit card, but it has much better stats. 65% accuracy on the gun with 21 AP, 21 front armor, and it comes also with a canister. So it can fire the regular rounds, but also has canisters which have an area of effect. Yeah, they fire HE basically, and they also have a top attack value. Is that as a cluster of submunition, it will deal damage over an area of effect. Yeah, so basically this does 7 HE, whereas the main ammunition that it fires only does 3 HE. So if you're up against infantry, you can use this and it'll do much more damage. And it also comes with a 50 cal. So that is one cool thing that this mod has added to the game. Now we have a bunch of infantry commands, nothing too special. They just come in Humvees, the Venom or the Twin Hueys. We have a CH-47D Chinook, this is supply heli. CH-53 King Stallion, 3700 liters fuel. A bunch of fobs. And here's a cool thing. We have Airborne Fobs. And this might sound weird, but basically you can have a Chinook carry a fob somewhere, unload it, and that'll deploy a fob to that area. And the same is true with the Super Stallion. And this really opens up a lot of possibilities. Like if you're really far close to the enemy's spawn, you can quickly get a fob somewhere closer and resupply your units really, really quickly and keep that advantageous position under control. We also have the LAVs, a bunch of LAVs also in CH-53s and cargo trucks. So the logistics tabs alone adds quite a lot of new things, such as different types of ammunition, heli-borne vehicles, basically heli transports, and fobs that can be deployed anywhere on the battle. Now the infantry, there's a lot of new things. Now we have the 101st Airborne. These are shock troops, and they have really, really fun stats. They have the M4a1 Block 2, really good assault rifle. They have the AT4 CS. So the AT4, you guys might already be familiar with this in vanilla Wargame, but this is basically just an upgraded variant. 20 rate of fire, 19 AP and 55% accuracy. And even though this mod brings everything to modern times, this is still a really good AT. And they have the M249 SAW. As I said, they're shock troops, and they come in a wide variety of vehicles. Now we have them in basic trucks that are 1 point. So these trucks are just 1 point instead of usually being 5 points. They come in the M1278 JLTV. So looking at the unit card here makes more sense. They also come in twin Hueys, the Black Hawk, the Chinooks, and in Ospreys. Now, as I mentioned, unit cards are the only thing we can adjust, so the model stays the same, but they come in Ospreys. And the Ospreys are insanely fast, 510 kilometers per hour range. It's really insane, in a good way. Now we also have assault sections. These guys carry an M4a1 and also have a Law, and these can be used against infantry. 3 HE on these bad boys. Not a great AP power, but definitely this is just more of a support infantry and meant to take out some lightly armored vehicles. They come in the Humvees, LAV-25, M13A3, AAVP7A1, which has a 40mm and a 50 cal, and twin Hueys, a Venom, and Black Hawk. And obviously all these helicopters are quite fast. They have just basic weaponry, so miniguns, twin miniguns, or rockets that fire AP, which is actually really cool. So if you get these assault sections in UH-1Y Venoms, you also have something to take care of vehicles. Next, we have support units that have been that unit card I just noticed. If you know what this unit card is, please let me know down in the comment section. Then you're a true MG. Oh no, I just noticed that, dude. Oh, that is beautiful. It's a machine gun. Oh my god. Yeah, so we have infantry with 50 cals, Humvees, M1278s, M113s, M2a1s. So we have them in Bradleys. And these guys carry TOW 2s, 20 AP, not bad at all. But they also have an upgraded variant with TOW 2As that do 26 AP for 10 points more, so that is definitely something I would get. They also have a better gun, 65% accuracy, more stabilizer, and 1 more AP power. That is cool. They also come with the M2a3 Bfv. So the gun is basically the same, it just has TOW 2Bs instead. Is that right? $24, $75, $26. I mean, the TOW is definitely less. Oh, it has more armor. Okay. So it has, the weaponry on this is slightly less quality, but it has more armor. So that's kind of why the point is only 10 points more. But weapons are worse. So they also come in the AAVP7, again with the Mark 19, Twin Hueys and Black Hawks. Next up, we also have Javelins. And Javelins, if you have been watching my videos of late, they're really powerful because they are top attack. So from the stats, you can see that it has 13 AP, but that is from the top. And tanks usually don't have that much armor on the top. That's why Javelins are powerful. They're really, really good units to have. 70% accuracy on these bad boys as well. Now, basically come in the same the variety of vehicles. So we have all the way up to the M113, and from there it leads on to the M2a2, so all of the Bradley variants. So we also have a 40mm vehicle. We have the M2a2 with the TOW 2As, really powerful TOW. And we all have the BFV once again. And this guy is only 25 points. because of armor differences. So this guy has 4 front, 2 side, whereas this guy has 5 front and 2 side. We also have the M2a3 Bfv, once again. We have twin Hueys, Venoms, and Blackhawks. So in terms of transports, it's nice and uniform. There's no like weird dynamism going on. And this mod does aim for realism. So these units are actually being used like this. They won't add unicorn units to these nations. They won't add like weird prototype units like the Polish stealth tank or whatever. It's just things that are being used. And we also have tow infantry. And I've actually not even noticed this. So they come in Marines, motorized, airborne, support, armored, so literally everywhere. I don't know why I didn't spot these. But we have tow infantry with tow 2As. And they basically come in the same types of the vehicles. Now we are not done yet. We got a lot of infantry. So Delta Force are next. And this is one of your special forces that you have. They're elite training, obviously. You have the HK 416, so the Hermann Koch 416. You have the AT4CS. Decent stats. It does lack the range, but it has decent everywhere else. And they have a Mark 48, which was definitely one of my favorite guns to use in Arma 2. Now the Delta Force also come in these vehicles. They're basically the same, except for the Darkhawk. So the Blackhawk has 7 strength, 290 kilometers per hour range. The Darkhawk has 7 strength, 280 kilometers per hour range. Stealth is good. Blackhawk stealth is poor. So these guys are basically the stealthy ones. And I actually just noticed this. They also come in Chinooks and Ospreys. So you can do quite a lot of really interesting things with these guys. The Darkhawks, I need to test those out. So we have Stinger teams, Stinger E's. Not the best, not the worst. 2450, 75% accuracy. They just come in a wide variety of vehicles once again, so I'll just pass the vehicles. But we also have Stinger F's that are better in every way. 2625 instead of 2450, and 5% more accuracy, and in basically the same types of vehicles. Next, we do have more elite units. We have Marine Raiders. If you compare the Marine Raiders to the Delta Force, we can quickly see what the main differences are. So in terms of main assault rifle, they're quite similar. The Delta Force does have a higher rate of fire with the HK 416. Let's see if the M4 differs in anything else. Nope. So in terms of assault rifle, Delta Force is definitely better. If we look at the anti-tank, we can see that the Delta Force lack range, whereas the Marine Raiders have 875, better accuracy, same AP, but less rate of fire. So it's kind of, depends on the situation in this case. In terms of the SAW or the light machine gun they have, it's literally the same. Elite training, one major difference is the manpower. So Marine Raiders come in squads of 15 versus 10 with the Delta Force, and that 5 extra points basically makes up for this, and slightly worse assault rifle. Marine Raiders do have some different vehicles, so these are all the same. Blackhawk, Chinook, Osprey. They also come in the SOC R, which is a boat. So you can have Marines underwater. I don't know why Eugen never did this, but that is actually a ton of fun. You can call these guys out and basically just turbo move past rivers and such. I have actually not tried this out, so I do wonder if you need like a wait, where can you actually spawn these in? I need to try this out. Anyways, so basic riflemen, these will be your line infantry. They just come in the same types of vehicles. Not the worst units actually to have. So you got M4s, M3 MAWs, and M240s. We have the S-Raw section, and I actually haven't tried these guys out yet. So these guys have the M4, they're basically support units, kind of similar to the Javelin, but worse in every way. So top attack with 12 AP, and this could be good in like close quarters in towns. I have actually not tried this out yet. So we also have striker teams, another decent line infantry, only 15 points, M4s, AT4CSs, and M249s, and they come in a wide variety of striker variants. So we have one with a 50 cal, we have one with javelins on it, the Crow systems, 70% accuracy and stabilizer. I need to try those out. We have striker dragoons with 30mm and Chinooks. Last but not least, US Marines, finally. So they have the M27 battle rifle, 7.62, really good stats on it. They have the AT4CS, so quite a frequently used anti-tank weapon, and they have the M240s. And the Marines come in basically really familiar vehicles as well. So we have the Hueys, the Venom, and the Osprey, but they also come in the M1278 JLTV, ACVP, which has just a 50 cal, ACV30 with a 30mm, and the 40mm grenade launcher. So really, really nice infantry loadout here, and my god, do I love that heavy machine gun thing. Now in the support tab, we have a lot of units. We have the Avengers. Now this is the basic Avenger, not really good in any means. 2200 meters range, horrible accuracy, but again, you can transport these in helicopters. Now we have the slightly better variant of the Avenger, the M998, 2450 meters range and 65% accuracy. And they also have a 50 cal, both of these, and this one you can also transport. But then we have the best one, 2800 meters range, 85% accuracy and a stabilizer, and once again, these can be transported in helicopters. Isn't that cool? I think it's really cool. So, what next? Now we have the LAV AD, and this is kind of an all-purpose vehicle. It has a GAU-12, a 25mm Gatling gun, basically. It has stingers, not the best. Kind of the worst stingers, honestly. But it also has hydro rockets with 2 HE each. So it's an all-around cheap fire support unit. I would say it's mainly useful for GAU-12 and rockets. The stingers are just a nice thing to have. But yeah, if these were cheap, you could probably just spam them and just drive them over the road, but they're 70 points, so they have really thought about this. Once again, you can also have them in the Super Stallions. Now we have the LAV EFSS. This is a mortar. Is also transportable. Really nice stats on it. 13 kilometers range on the 107mm. I'm not quite sure if that is correct. I mean, I guess it is. That's a pretty good range for a mortar, I do have to say. We have the LAVM, 81mm, 5 kilometers range. We have Paladins, the 155mm, really nice guns to have. And we also have the M1a9A7. So this is the A6 Paladin, this is the A7 Pim. Better dispersion, and it has a better machine gun as well on it. And better armor. Now, what else do we have? The M1127 Striker MCVB, 120mm mortar. I do think that this might be an error. I'm not quite sure why this is showing up as 10 kilometers range. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's something I don't understand. Is it smoke? I don't know. I'll have to try this out. Anyways, we have the M270, so we do have rocket vehicles in this game as well. This is the cluster, so AP power of 9, really nice unit to have. We also have the HIMARS, which is an HE cluster, or rocket, sorry, not cluster. Is it cluster? This might actually be clustered. There are HE cluster units. So here we have the HIMARS. Now next up we have the ATACMS. Nothing really changed to this except for probably some cost balancing. Basically can fire anywhere on the map. Just one taps most things. We also have the M142 PRSM, which is kind of similar to it. It has two 610mm rockets with 17 HE each. We have the M48 Chaparral, never hits anything probably. We have the M6a2 Linebacker, and this guy is really similar to the LAV AD that we had. So this has a 25mm Bushmaster instead of the GAU-12. It also has stingers, and instead of rockets it has smoke launchers. So this is a decent fire support unit to have. Next up we have a bunch of Patriots. So Patriot Pack 2, 8 kilometers range, 60% accuracy, pretty dang good. Now we have a slightly better variant with 10% more accuracy, and we have a slightly better variant with 9 kilometers range and 80% accuracy. So the 10 points gives you 10% accuracy buff, and the 20 points on top of that gives you 1 kilometer more range and 10% more of accuracy. Now we also have Patriots focusing on helicopters, and this guy does 2800 meters range to helicopters with 85% accuracy, and we also have one that has 3150 meters range on the helicopters. And my god, does that thing turn quick. So the last AAPs that we have in USA is the Striker IM Shorad. And this thing is an absolute blast to use. 30mm on it, the M230. It has stingers that are actually really good, but it also has Hellfires that it can fire at helicopters. Isn't that epic, guys? I need to use these. Like, from the stats, it looks like it's an overpowered unit, but it's 110 points. Now, in the tanks, we don't have a lot, but we also don't have any unicorn units or units from the 50s that are still being used, which is just not realistic. America just uses Abrams. So we get Abrams. Now, the cheapest one we have is the M1ib Abrams, and you might have seen these being used in my latest battles. I have been using these. We have the M1a1 Abrams, so these were already in the game. The next tank that we're kind of familiar with is the M1a1 Hc Abrams. The HC stands for heavy cannon, at least that's what I call it. 65, 21, not bad at all. 21 front armor, really good tank to have in general. We also have the Hc Abrams Tusk. And the main difference is the gun. 5% more accuracy, more stabilizer, 2 more AP, 1 more front armor, but a buttload more side armor and back armor. And once again, it has canister shots that it can Shrek infantry with. We have the M1a1 Abrams Sep, insane cannon, accuracy, stabilizer, AP is just out of the world, 21 front armor, so not as good with the side armor and the back armor, but definitely has the better gun. Now we have the Sep Tusk 2 as well, and if you compare between the Sep Tusk 2 and the Tusk 1, it has 1 more AP, 1 more front armor, 2 more side armor, and 1 more top armor, which can be helpful if the enemy is using cluster. Now the last 3 tanks that are in this mod is the M1a2 Abrams Sep. Now if you compare the Sep with the Fep, we can see a few minor differences. So the Sep has 1 less AP, 5% less stabilizer, 5% less accuracy, but it has 1 more front armor, 1 more side armor, 1 more back, and 1 more top armor. And that's 4 or 5 points. We also have the Sap V2, which has, like, these are minor differences between the tanks, but they make up, even though like the stats might look minor, the points increase is quite substantial, just to balance things out. So the Sep version 3 has basically just a much better gun in general, 24 AP, also has 1 more HE, and just 24 front armor and 10 side armor. So yeah, so you can see that it's kind of an increase in, first an increase in like gun, and then it just goes crazy. But that's 180 points, and you don't get a lot of these. So that's pretty cool. Now in the recon we have a lot of crap in a good way. Please don't pay attention to the unit models, but this is an AC-130, just trust me. Now the AC-130 has a GAU 12, it has a 40mm Bofors, and it has a M102 howitzer. And if you have been watching my videos, these are so much fun to use. 12 strength, so it can take some AA hits. Decent ECM as well. Really slow, but man, when it starts firing, it's a blast. We have Cavalry Scouts, really nice infantry recon units to have. They also have the Javelin. They are only 5-man teams, so definitely don't use these guys as I have been using, which is on the front line to fight. But they come in the wide variety of vehicles that I've already went past or went over, and they have very good optics and very good stealth. It's actually not bad. Then we have the Green Berets, and these guys have exceptional stealth instead of very good, so they're much better. They're elite training as well. They're much faster, also on their feetsies, 30 kilometers per hour range, speed. They have the M4a1, they have the AT4, and the Mark 48. So you could use this as your frontline infantry. We'll sprinkle it between your infantry to keep eyes on everything. So pretty nice to have, Green Berets. We have the Growler ITV LSV, 50 cal and M240 on it, nothing too special. Exceptional optics though, so that is something to keep in mind. We have the LAV-25A3, good optics, medium stealth, makes sense, right? It's quite a big vehicle. We also have the Striker Fist MCS with exceptional optics and good stealth. We might have to use this thing. There's a lot of options for recon, that's for sure. We have the M1278 JLTV RV with a 30mm, very good optics, medium stealth, and you can just transport these guys in helis as well. Bradley recon. And let me see, tow. That is a top attack? Okay, so that is a top attack, 15 AP. I might have said something wrong about the tow 2B when we were going over the vehicles, but this appears to be top attack, 15 AP, that is pretty good. 25mm Bushmaster, also has smoke launchers on it, so that is pretty dope. We also have the M1a4 Fist JFS, basically a dumbed down version in terms of weapons, but much better optics. Mh60 Nighthawk, this guy carries Hellfires, rockets, and a 50 cal. Very good optics though, or stealth, because it's a big girl. Okay. We have the MQ, what is that, 8B Fire Scout, and just look at the card. That thing looks wonky as hell. Good optics though, medium stealth. You know, could be useful. We have Marine Force Recon, 416 on it. What is that? They have a sniper rifle as well. Oh wow, okay. That could be really interesting. Very good optics, exceptional stealth. Only 5 men though. So use them sparingly. And where would we be without the SEALs? Now the SEALs, as you know, per tradition, have the grenade launcher. They have a Scar H, that's a battle rifle, and they have the M249. Very good optics, very good stealth, elite training, 10-man squad, so these could be used as your basic fighting infantry, especially in towns or forests. They will do really well, and they come in a wide variety of vehicles, ranging from just the truck all the way up to the Osprey, and boats as well. So we have the OH-58, the Kiowa, and we also have the Kiowa Warrior. So one carries rockets and a 50, the other one carries Hellfire. Both have exceptional optics, but poor stealth. Next up we have drones, and the only model that kind of made sense was this weird vehicle. I think this one drops napalm in vanilla, I'm not quite sure, but we have the RQ-7B Recon. But we also have the Reaper drone, which carries paveways and Hellfires. So we have drones. We have the MQ-9A Reaper. It's just cool. Now, last but not least, we have Ranger teams. Really good infantry to have in general. Very good optics, very good stealth, shock training. You have the M4, M240, and M3. Just nothing really wrong with these units. So theoretically, you could just fill up your recon tab and just leave your infantry tab completely empty and still do pretty good. And the final recon unit that we have are Scout Snipers, M4s, AT4CSs, and the M40A5 50 cal sniper rifle. And I definitely, since I've gone over these units kind of more slowly, I definitely need to go back to my my decks and make some adjustments. Now let's go to the vehicle tab. Man, there's a lot of these units. And most of these units were already discussed in when we were going over the infantry tab, but just to quickly go over it. So we have the 40mm launcher, and just only look at the right side here. AAV P7A1 with a 40mm grenade launcher and the 50 cal. We have the ACV-30, 30mm Bushmaster, really fast on road, 150. Also amphibious, decent front armor. We have the ACV-P, so kind of the same thing, but it just carries a 50 cal instead. So it's also much cheaper. We have the AMPV-GP with the 40mm grenade launcher, 5 front and 5 side armor. That could actually be really nice to use. We have the LAV-25 with a Bushmaster, smoke launcher, and M240, and you can also carry these in the Super Stallion. Slightly different variant is the LAV-25A2. I'm not quite sure what the main differences are. It just does not have the smoke launcher. So that is, and 1 front armor extra. Also slightly faster amphibious and off-road. Slower off-road. Yeah, it's a bit slower. Okay, interesting. Now we have the LAV-AT with tow 2s. Also possible to transport these with helis. We have the LAV-ATM with better tows, so the tow 2Bs, better range, better accuracy, stabilizer, and it is top attack, so 15 AP on the top. M2a4 Busk 3 carrying the Bushmaster and the tow 2A with 26 AP, so this is not a top attack, but a direct, kind of like a direct hit tow 2. I don't know what they're basically called, but just regular tow 2s, not any top attack craziness going on there. We just have Humvees with tows, also transportable by helicopters. We have this guy. So one of them is actually not AP, but HE. So we have a tow 2A with HE, so good against infantry. But we also have the tow 2A with AP. And we also have the tow 2A with top attack, or tow 2B in this case. So you have a lot of variability between units, which is really cool. Now we have the Striker MTAS with tow 2Bs, top attack, stabilized as well, smoke launchers on it. We just have trucks, Humvees, so these are basically all the units, the vehicles that are in the game with this mod. We have the Striker Crow team with the Javelins and the 50 cals, Striker with just a 50, Striker with a 105mm, AP of 18, accuracy 75, so really good fire support actually. M13A3, and we just have a bunch of Bradley variants. So with a tow 2, we have the Busk 3 with 26 AP, that's just crazy, but yeah. Okay, so in the helicopter section, we have Super Cobras, tow 2B top attack, so 15 AP top attack is going to be insane. We have the Whiskey Cobras with 3,300 meters range aim 9s, so this is your AA variant, 80% accuracy and stabilizer. But we also have the Viper, and the Viper comes with even better anti-air missiles, 3,500 meters range, 90% accuracy, and we have Hellfires as well. 170 points though, so they don't come cheap. We have the Apache, carrying Hellfires, Hydra 70 rockets with HE, and the M230 cannon. We have the Apache Escort, which basically carries multiple rocket pods, one for AP, one for HE. We have the Apache Longbow with a buttload of Hellfire missiles, and we have the Apache Guardian with different loadouts than what you're maybe familiar with. They have the JAGMs. And these guys are insane. 3,500 meters range on ground, 3,150 meters range on helis. But it's both AA, but also air to ground. Isn't that sick? 175 points though. Really, really expensive, but really, very powerful. I actually haven't used this guy. Now we also have the AH-6M with 2 Hellfires, and I have used this guy quite a bit in my videos. Really good unit to have. We have the Chinooks, the transports, the other Chinooks, the transports. We have the Super Stallion Osprey. We just have Little Bird recon units. Mh60, so we have the DAP with Hellfires, but also the variant of the Mh60L with anti-air and rockets. So we have the AIM-92s, and we have the rockets there. Now the Darkhawk is really an interesting unit with good stealth. I really need to use these units more often. OH-58DS Cobra, I've already gone over this one, I believe, with AIM-92s. Not the best anti-air, but you know, it's something. Hueys, Venoms, and Blackhawks. Now let's move over to the last part. And there's a lot of units here. And my god, does the A10 just look good. So, A10 is kept in. Really good plane. Still being used, or has been even recently. It's just a really good it's just a real it's a beast. Okay, you don't really need to say more than that. It's a beast. It has obviously a lot of weapons on it. So we have the Mavericks. It carries 2 Mavericks. Is this even correct? It has AIM-9s, air-to-air missiles. Yep, it has 2 Sidewinders, and it also has 84 70mm rockets. So it has anti-tank, anti-everything, and anti-air on it. A really nice unit to use. Now we have the Mauled, and this is kind of like a decoy plane, 15 points. It is literally a decoy plane. So you can't just call this out and try to bait enemy units. We have Harriers, carrying the GAU-12, carrying Mavericks, and also Abrams. 30 AP on the Mavericks, but 65% accuracy. Although it says 65% accuracy, it doesn't always hit 65% of the shots, which is good. Now here's a new unit that has been added to the game, not this character model or the unit model of the M111, I believe. But we have the E2d Hawkeye. And what this plane is able to do is jam both AA on the ground, but also airplanes in the air, which is really fun. And when it jams, like it has a rate of fire, obviously it can't just keep jamming continuously. It will move an airplane or AA from calm to worried, from worried to, you know, panicked, from panicked to stunned. And it's just a really nice way of countering AA. It's a completely new way of countering AA. And they're not overpowered. They don't like always hit. You know, the accuracy is only 50%. And yeah, and obviously they can be shot down. We also have the Sentry, so it's basically the same, but with better strength. And this is actually one of the unit models that I didn't know was even in the game. This giant freaking beast of an airplane. And it has 2 more strength compared to the Hawkeye. Much wider turn radius, but everything else basically the same. Now we have the F-15c Eagle, 8 kilometers range on the longest anti-air missiles on it, but it also has AIM-9Xs for close range. 20mm Vulcan, 50% ECM, basically max speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour. Overall good plane to have. Now we also have a bunch of F-15 Strike or F-15 variants. So the Strike Eagle here carries 4 paveways, also has a long range Abrams of 7 kilometers. We have the Strike Eagle RMP, which carries cruise missiles, 13 kilometers range, decent dispersion, so they don't hit the same place every time. They kind of just spread out over the area, 20 AP or HE on each of them. And once again, carries Abrams. These are slightly better, as you can see in terms of accuracy and range. Now we have a bunch of F-16s. So we have the Block 30 Fighting Falcon with 12 225 27 kilogram bombs, so quite familiar to what you're already used to. We also have the Block 40, which carries 4 1-ton bombs instead of a bunch of 227s, and it has 10% more ECM and better sidewinders. So it kind of just depends on what you want to do. We have the F-16 Block 32 Fighting Falcon with cluster, and we have the 42 with better cluster. So this guy has 12 245 kilograms. This guy has 6 of them, but they do more AP each. And it has better sidewinders. On top of that, 10 more ECM and very good air detection. So for 5 points more, what you're getting is you are getting better cluster, but you get less bombs, if that makes sense. So instead of 12, you go down to 6. You get better sidewinders, and you do get better ECM and such. So that's the reason for the 5-point increase in price. We also have just a basic F16C Fighting Falcon. This is the air superiority version. 2 Abrams and 2 sidewinders. And that is also a way that these planes are balanced. They only carry 2, usually only carry 2 of the really long range missiles, except for something like the F-15c Eagle 2. Now, F-16 CJ Fighting Falcon here is a seaplane, 9 kilometers range on that. Also carries sidewinders, but the seaplanes that have been added into this game are actually quite fun to use as well. And some are quite multi-role, like the Block 52D, I believe, that South Korea has, KF-16. Yeah. So there's quite a lot of that going on. The KF-16 in vanilla, with the long-range air-to-air, but also the sea capabilities, was one of my favorite units. And there's a lot of that going on in this mod. So as I said, the F-15c Eagle 2 carries a buttload of Abrams, 8 of these. Carries a bunch of sidewinders, but it also has seat capabilities. So this could be your multi-role plane, 60% ECM, exceptional air detection, max speed, turn radius is good, really good plane to use. Now we also have the F16 Cm Block 52, and I'm just getting a sore throat at this point, with 6 Mavericks, 4 long-range air-to-air missiles. It's an overall good unit to use, good close air support. You can just wreck tanks, no problem. But now, F22a Raptor. Obviously, the character model is not of a Raptor, but this guy is pretty good. It might be getting a buff because it hasn't really been doing as well as some of the counterparts or some of the Russian variants. 8 kilometers range on the Abrams. It's good in general. 60% ECM as well. You know, it's just an overall beast to use. We also have the Raptor Block 40 with overall better stats. So most of it is the same, it's just the armaments. So the AMRAM gets 1500 meters range extra, 10% more accuracy and stabilizer, and the Sidewinder gets 500 meters more range and 5% more accuracy and stabilizer. We also have the F-35 Lightning, and here we also introduce a new unit, which is the Stormbreaker 2, which is a top attack air-to-ground missile. 8 kilometers range, 12 AP from the top. Also carries AMRAMs, the really good ones, and also carries Sidewinders that are quite accurate as well. I say quite accurate, that is insane accuracy. Now we also have the F-35b Lightning, which carries 2 of these JDAMs, laser guided bombs. 5 kilometers range, 20 HE. Also carries a really good AMRAMs on the Sidewinders. Now last but not least, the F-35c Lightning. Did I already go over this? Nope, we didn't, which has the cluster bombs. The top attack, 10 AP at 8 kilometers, so you can quickly fly in, drop those JSOWs and just cruise out of there. But this is definitely within range of enemy air AA, so it's not like airplanes are overpowered in this mod. It's quite far from it, actually. Now we have some familiar names here. The FA-18C Hornet, carrying the Sparrow air-to-air missiles, the AIM-9s. So quite basic. Definitely could be used to kind of buff your air superiority capabilities. We also have the Super Hornet variant, which is just better in every way. It has better air detection, better ECM, and better missiles. So we have the Lot 10 Hornet with cluster bombs. Quite a cheap cluster bomber. The range really is not that good, and the AP isn't good either. So you must be really desperate when you call this guy in. We also have the Lot 5 Hornet, and this guy is definitely a little bit better. It has HE instead of AP, so 8 500 kilogram bombs. Now 500 times 8 is about 2743.17. Trust me, I'm a scientist. 15 HE on this. Decent bomber. We have the FA-18C Plus Hornet. This guy carries paveways at 5 kilometers. Not too bad at all. We have the Super Hornet, which carries slams So basically cruise missiles once again at 11 kilometers, 20 HE each. 18D Hornet, which carries seed missiles, so this is another multi-role plane. So we have seed, long range AA and close range AA. And we have the Growler, which is just basically fully seed. So it has a jammer, an anti-air jammer, 12 kilometers range. But it also has the seed missiles itself, and it also has air-to-air missiles that almost range 10 kilometers. Man, that was a lot of talking, 45 minutes, but this mod definitely adds a lot of really cool, interesting units to the game. As you can see, the Russians also have a bunch of new units that I will have to talk through and hurt my throat while doing so. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to download the mod, check the link down below, join the Discord, and you will be able to find people to play with, and you will have a lot of fun and basically have a renewed experience of Wargame Red Dragon. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys back soon. Take care.